Hi, it's Tash. Now, have you ever been through the pain and frustration of unreasonable refund requests, cancellations, failed payments? And even if you haven't gone through this in your business yet, is it something that worries you and plays in your mind? In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 key contract points to minimize all of these things. And I'm really excited to share them with you, and I hope you're going to take them on board and put them into action, because it breaks my heart to see all of you wonderful business owners working so hard on your messaging, working out who your ideal paying client is, getting your products and services just right to help your clients where they are right now, and doing all of that incredible work on the front end, and then marketing your products and services, either with exhausting launches or putting so much effort into having an evergreen marketing system so that you can get people to sign up for your products and services, but not covering yourselves on the back end to make sure that people don't cancel, or they don't fail to make their payments, or don't make refund requests when they're not entitled to. We need to make sure that, as well as doing all of that creative work on the front end, you're being really sensible and together on the back end. And that's what I'm going to be covering in this video today. So I'm going to start by covering one key overarching point, which, even if you just get that right, is going to be a complete game changer for you. And then I'm going to look at some very specific practical points, things for you to cover off in your contract. So let's get going. So the first point is an overarching point, and I was talking about this with one of my brilliant business mentors last week, and it's the fact that you need to have a set of written terms and conditions, or a written agreement in place. You need to have a written contract in place, because without a written contract in place, you really don't have a leg to stand on. So you need to have that document in place. No surprises there, but this is the really important bit. It's no good having something that you've just got from a friend of a friend or pulled together yourself. You need to know that the document you're using is right for your products and services, and that is legally correct, because that completely changes the energy that you show up with when you're dealing with these difficult conversations around unreasonable refund requests, cancellation requests in circumstances where people have really already committed to your program, your services, and also not paying. Okay, so you need to make sure that you've got a legally correct written contract or set of terms and conditions in place. It's absolutely crucial. Okay, so now we're going to look at some of the more specific points that you need to cover off in that written contract. The first is, make sure that you have a good, strong service description in place. And that service description needs to be a list of all of the things that you are providing as a part of your products or services. So it's a list of specific, concrete, measurable things, so that if there's any question at all about whether or not you've fulfilled your obligations under your contract, you can go through that list and show that you have done all of the things. The next point is, make sure that you have a detailed refund and cancellation policy. And here it is again, that is legally correct. You need to know that if things are going wrong, if things are a bit tricky, that you can rely on that. And again, it completely changes the energy that you show up with to deal with these situations as they arise, and means you're much more likely to get a favourable outcome for you and your business, and maybe even save that relationship with your client, continue to have a good relationship with your client. So a legally correct cancellation and refund policy. And just a side note on that, you need to know if you supply to consumers or not, because if you supply to consumers, you have a different type of refund and cancellation policy than if you supply to non-consumers. So you need to make sure that's right. It may be that You do have to, in certain situations, honour a cooling off period, for example, if you supply to consumers. But get this, it might be that you don't have to comply, you don't have to offer a cooling off period. In certain circumstances, you don't need to do that, but you only get the benefit of that protection if you have explained your client's potential cooling off rights, or the fact they're not entitled to the cooling off rights in your cancellation refund policy. So it's not something to stick your head in the sand about, it's something to get clarity about and then make sure that you cover it off properly. The next point is to include a clause which allows you to charge interest in the situation where someone is late in making a payment to you. Now, in my experience, lots of my lovely clients feel really uncomfortable about this, which kind of surprises me. As a lawyer, I am just very used to the fact that there is typically an interest charging clause in the case of late payment in contracts. It's just one of those things. It's entirely reasonable and normal. So get comfortable with the idea of having that clause in your contract. And the thing is, you don't always have to enforce it. In fact, in my experience, my clients very, very rarely enforce that kind of clause. But the very fact that it's there means that it helps to concentrate the mind on anyone who is thinking about not paying you. And it's going to help to make sure that you are top of the list of the people they're going to pay if they're having a bit of a sticky time with their cash flow, okay? The next thing is to make sure that you have a system in place to deal with late payments and that you deal with them as soon as it happens. So the first day that a payment is late, it's a really good idea to have a system where somebody from your team, or you, if you don't have a team yet, gets in touch and finds out if there's any problem, finds out what's going on. It may be simply that there just are some card details that need updating. That happens all of the time. But you want to make sure that you have a system in place that you efficiently get in touch and start that communication really early on. And again, that's going to help to make sure that you get paid more often, that the failed payments are dealt with, and also if someone is in that situation where they've got a number of people they need to pay and they're choosing the order in which they make those payments, that you are on top of the list. So there we go. Those are the things that I wanted to cover today about making sure that you minimize those unreasonable refund requests, people cancelling and trying to get out of programs and services that they've committed to already, and also dealing with those failed payments as well. Just a point to leave you with: if you've got a contract in place or a set of terms and conditions in place and you are upfront and positive about the fact that people are signing up to your contract and your terms and conditions, and you show up with the energy of knowing that your terms and conditions are correct and will stand up if you need to rely on them, then if people are finding it difficult to make all of the payments they need to make, if they need to make choices about who they pay first, you will be at the top of the list, and that's where I want to see you. See you next time.